Now then, it's Give It a Swing with Smith. And today, we're in the outdoors. We're going to do something a bit different. We're going out on the sea. We're going to do some sailing on the little dinghy I've got here. Now, I got this quite a few years ago. It was a write-off. We got a great big, it was a hurricane came, and basically this thing got swept off its moorings on the beach and was found, oh, where? How many kilometres? About 5 kilometres up the coast. Weeks later, and all this side was all smashed in. And I spent quite a lot of time, car filler and glass fibre to mend it. But it's sturdy, it holds up. So I'll just give you a bit of a rundown on the boat. Yeah. So she's 13.5 foot long, so it's only a small dinghy. And it's got it's quite beamy. It's got I think it's 5 foot beam, so there's a bit of room. It's quite a shallow draft. So you know, these seats, the benches, as anyone knows who fishes from a boat ever, if you're crawling around on those benches all day, you get a really bad back. So what I've got myself one of these stools. I bought this from good old IKEA, and it cost 15 quid. Yeah, that's right, yeah, it'll be 15 quid, 150 crowns. If we round it off nice and easy. And I'll be moving back there when I steer from the steering column. Let me just adjust that a little bit. There we go. Then on the prow here, I made a little folding down seat. So when I've got someone with me, like I'm taking my lad today, he can sit on here. It's got a backrest. That's the important thing. If you've got a backrest, you much. And these small boats usually don't have backrests. Like I say, you're crawling around on these benches, and it's absolutely really uncomfortable. And I also made a little foredeck here as well. That's going to be to put some equipment on at some point. You can see it's not flush with the edges. It would have been nicer if it was, but I was just using some old plywood that I had, and I didn't want to go out and buy a new sheet of plywood just for a little mod. You know, so as you can see, I've made some modifications on this little dinghy. Using the word dinghy, I just want to do a shout out to Troy's Fishing. Troy's down on the Channel Islands. Looks an absolutely beautiful place. There's actually two fellas down there I follow. But Troy's Fishing was the one who inspired me to get this dinghy out on the sea, because he said he was out there with these Atlantic swells fishing, lobster potting, and I thought, well, blooming Nora, that looks great. So basically I got my finger out and thought, well, I'm going to do it up here on the sea here. The sea I fish in is Kattegat, which is in between Denmark and Sweden. So you don't get the big tides like they do down there on Guernsey. I think they get 10 metre tides down there. We get 1/2 metre tides here. Even where I come from in Yorkshire, we have 6 metre tides, 6.5 metre tides, which are quite big. But anyway, yeah, so if you want to learn anything about fishing for lobsters and crabs, get on to Troy's Fishing down in Guernsey. And also a shout out to Danny from Inglorious Fishing. He does another really good one. He's a younger fella, and yeah, he's a funny guy as well. But both got really nice setups on the boats and everything. But back to my boat. I've got a little engine, not a big one. I don't need a big one. Why have a big engine for such a little dinghy like this? So I've got myself a 2.5 horsepower Mercury. It's hardly been used at all. The guy that I got the boat off, he was getting on a bit, and he thought, well, I can't be bothered to do anything with this. So he said, you know, you can. And I bought the whole job lot quite cheap. Anyway, it's a lovely little 4-stroke engine. They make a bit less noise than a 2-stroke. You don't have to bother with the oil mixtures. And I like 4-strokes. I really do. I think they're really good. And this little 2.5 horsepower engine can push this little boat along as good as anything. You don't need anything bigger. And today's object out on the seas, I'm putting some fishing nets out. There's some sea trout running in at the moment, so I'm going to put those off. Obviously not in for 100 yards. We have regulations here in Denmark, like anywhere. So I'm going to go and shoot these nets and then pick them up tomorrow. The forecast is that we've got 3 meters a second today, which is nice and still. It's blowing up to 5 tomorrow, maybe 6, but that's okay. We can handle that. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a rundown. Oh yeah, and I've got my boys there, and I've got some paddles if we lose engine power, and I'm not far out. I don't go far out. So yeah, all's well and good. And of course, have some life jackets with you. All the safety precautions. Always go with the safety precautions, and I do. But I don't think it's worth boring you with them because you all know about those, don't you? So yeah, I'll call it a day for. Well, the intro vlog. I'll close on that, and I'll maybe get something out when we're out on the sea. All right then. Cheers.